But at the same time, he will not, his own plenary experience of nothing is there, there is no creation at all, even seemingly, he will not use it for the sake of us. He will say, yes, it appears like that, but it is nothing but a snake rope. Analogy is all that is needed to take it and throw it out. So, Bhagavan will give that also to us very clearly through the 40 slokas. He will use this methodology and without naming anything, just going one by one, first examining the jiva, then examining the para, then examining the world, everything he will do, and ultimately will clearly bring us back to where we are. So, the whole of Ulladhu Narpadhu is revolving around this concept of Drishti Srishti Vada, which is first there is a vision, and because of that vision, first there is a sight, and because of that sight, the Srishti is taking place. Other than that, on its own merit, there is no Srishti. This is in the Western philosophical world, they call it, roughly idealism. That is, everything is mind-made. And the other side of idealism in Western philosophy is called realism, which is the sciences of today. All the sciences of today are realism. That is, they take for granted all these things exist, whether or not you are there. Whereas the idealism position is, everything is there only when there is a perceiver. Without a perceiver, there is nothing perceived. Is the position that the idealists take. And that is what most of the Indian Vedantic schools teach. Almost all the Vedantic school takes this approach of drishti. Not drishti, they don't take necessarily the approach of the drishti, but they will come back to that state, because all excepting for the highest core of Advaita Vedanta, everybody else will prefer srishti drishti. That is, they will take first, yes, there is a srishti and there is a srishti karta, and they will say, they won't say there is a God sitting in Vaikuntha or Kailasa and he is creating all. That is not what they will say. But they will say there is one cosmic mind, and that cosmic mind creates all this, and we are all part of that cosmic mind with some connection with that cosmic mind. So the multiplicity is established that way, because the cosmic mind is the only mind which knows everything. Bhagavan never ever accepted there is something called cosmic mind. Excepting your own small mind, there is nothing. This is absolutely radical revolution created by Bhagavan. A lot of these pandits were struggling. They were not willing to accept. Bhagavan never bothered. Bhagavan says this is a plenary experience coming from the heart. And people were not even able to talk to him, because the moment they go with all, they will equip themselves, train themselves for months together. I'm going to put this point, I'm going to create. They will go in front of Bhagavan. All their questions will vanish in a matter of seconds. They will evaporate. And they will fall flat at Bhagavan's feet, saying, Bhagavan, that thing, I'm clear. So without a word, like Dakshinamurti did in those days to his Sishyas, it's exactly what Bhagavan did to everyone that night. People will go with, in a big mood to argue with Bhagavan. I want to know this, I want to know that. No, Bhagavan, how can you say this? This is what I read in Upanishads, this is what is given in Shastras, this is what is there in Puranas, Itihasas. The moment they go in front of Bhagavan, everything is gone. They are consumed by Bhagavan. Such is the grace of Bhagavan. Such is the power of one. The Advaitic power, that is all. They will immediately come to understand all this is not there. All these questions are not worth even considering. They will totally forget why they came for. They will fall at Bhagavan's feet and they never go back. For a long time they will forget to go back to their home. They will be just like in front of. This is not magic or whatever. Bhagavan is not using any mantras, tantras or whatever. Genuine, generating the Advaitic love. This is what is bhakti. Bhakti is, the other word for bhakti is love. Love is bhakti. That is what in Tamil they say, Anbe Sivam. Sivam is nothing but love. And bhakti is nothing but love. A love for something, a love for your God, a love for your, in dualistic term, a love for your God. And ultimately, when you become a little bit more mature, so why do we say we love God, or we have surrendered everything to God? A lot of people have surrendered everything. It's so easy to surrender your possessions. So difficult to surrender the possessor. So easy. I have everything. I have 10 cars. I have 2 houses. I have everything. Yes, I'll write it. I'll write a will. Take all this is for my Bhagavan, for my temple, for my whatever. Give yourself. We will give. We think we'll give. But the moment we surrender, we have no right to question even one thing that is happening. Like after giving everything, I thought this will be used for this purpose. A lot of people used to do that in ashram during Bhagavan's day. They will give everything to Bhagavan. With condition, this should be used only for this. This should be used only for this. What kind of ego is playing? So, when you say you have surrendered yourself to the higher power, the meaning is you have surrendered your I, and you have no more any right to ask any question, because everything is taken care of the power, and I have given the possessor to Bhagavan. So, giving possessions is so easy. Anybody can do. Anybody can give, even to their last penny. People can give off. No problem. They'll give every single possession. But giving up this I to the Bhagavan, that is why we have this Bali Pida and all in front of the Lord in the temple. Not to sacrifice anything, not to sacrifice a goat or something like all these villagers do. Not to sacrifice your possession, sacrifice your I. You have to put your neck on the line first. You should be the first one, meaning not your physical body, your I. Your I should be put on the line. To remain that is why we have the Bali Pida in all the temples that we visit, especially all the Shiva temples has this Bali Pida. Even Ramanashram, there is a small Nandi in front of the temple, there is a Bali Pida. You have to sacrifice your I. So, what is the ultimate meaning here? Now you have sacrificed the I. And in Jnana Marga, what is said? Give up the I. So, there is absolutely no difference between a Bhakti Marga and a Jnana Marga. They are one and the same. Both of them ultimately culminates in giving up the I. So, when you say I have surrendered to Bhagavan, I am a Bhakti Marga person, I like Bhakti, I'm more into Bhakti, I don't want this Vichara, I want to Bhakti. In your Bhakti, the first thing expected out of you to surrender everything to the one that you are showing the Bhakti towards. And the most important surrender, as I told earlier, is you. Surrendering the I, the feeling of I. And that's exactly what Jnana says. Sit and understand there is no I. So they are one and the same. We call it, for the sake of convenience, we call it as Bhakti Marga, Jnana Marga, and all that. So, and the ultimate analysis, Bhakti is nothing but love. The feeling of love towards something that enables you to sacrifice everything, including the possessor. This is how Bhakti Marga evolved and Jnana Marga evolved. They are all one and the same. There is absolutely no difference between all this. And as we saw, there are other margas like Bhakti Yoga Marga, Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Marga, Jnana Marga, all this is there. But what are all these? Bhagavan says in Upadesa Undiyar, as we went through that sloka in detail a few weeks ago. Uditta idattil odungi iruttal, adu karmam, bhakti, undi para, adu jnanam, adu yogam, jnanam, undi para, meaning, uditta idattil, the place where you raise as I. Just stay put in that I, don't rise as this I, don't rise as this ego. That is bhakti, that is jnana, that is karma, that is yoga. Nothing else. He completely brings all the four margas into only one concept called don't rise as ego, everything is same. It may appear, all this may, during the stage of sadhaka, they may appear to be all different, but all of them ultimately aim is only one thing, to annihilate the feeling of I. So the moment we annihilate the feeling of I, there is nothing else we need to do. So, it is so beautifully brought out that Bhakti and Jnana Marga are one and the same. In Jnana Marga, you sit and ask yourself the question, ask the ego the question, who are you and what's the ego? And in Bhakti Marga, we surrender the ego to Bhagavan, to your Ishtadeva. You surrender the ego. So here you question and you go to Jnana Marga, you question. You use a little bit of your knowledge, you question and you go trace the root. In Bhakti Marga, you sacrifice. Purely because of the love that you have, you sacrifice and you go. Look, now everything, the ultimate come is one and the same. This is what Bhagavan always says. Even for the Jnana Marga, some amount of love, priyam is needed. So Bhagavan used to say, Bhakti is Jnana Mata. So without the love for knowing yourself, that love is nothing but Bhakti, priyam. So Bhagavan says, Bhakti is needed to initially to even kickstart your Jnana journey. So, ultimate analysis, what it is? Bhakti is Jnana Mata. So, everybody needs both Bhakti, and that Bhakti and Jnana are inseparable, two sides of the same coin. Now, with this background, if you see the first Mangala Sloka of Ulladhu Narpadhu, we will go into the text. Unfortunately, I will not, like how we did for Upadesa Undiyar, there is no Sanskrit or other versions of Ulladhu Narpadhu. There is Malayalam version, but none of us are familiar with that. But we'll have to rely on the Tamil version. But I can give you the English translation as we go, but not in a point. Even in Telugu, Upadesa Saraha, Ulladhu Narpadhu, Ulladhu Nalabati is there, but I think it is in prose format. Bhagavan has written it in prose format in Telugu. We also have in Sanskrit Saptarshana, written by Kavya Kataganapati. When Bhagavan says, in sleep, we go into the deep sleep, dreamless sleep. We go into our pristine pure state. No I is there, no mind is there, nothing is there. But your Satchit is glowing in all its magnificence. That is why you are able to, after waking up, you are able to say, even though mind is not there, I did not know anything. I know something, or I did not know something. There has to be some person to say that I knew or I know or I don't know. But there, no, the person is dead, as good as dead in a deep sleep. The I is totally subsumed. It goes and merges in Satchitananda, the Parabrahma. But after waking up, he said, I did not know anything. I slept so peacefully. It was full of happy. I was so happy. This is something everybody says about deep sleep. That's because of the continuity that is there in form of Satchitananda. But as we discussed many times before, the sleep state, you are merging. At the time of sleep, you are merging. You are one with Parabrahma. You are a fully realized person at that time. But you wake up due to samskaras, due to your vasanas. It wakes up. So, that state is only a laya, mano laya. The manas is temporarily put in abeyance. And according to its vasana, it'll come up. It'll go into either swapna or it'll go to Jagrat state. One of the state it'll pass on. So that is not a state that we are willing. And we cannot forever sleep also. Nobody can sleep forever. Our samskaras will come and wake us. Anybody can sleep, 8 hours, 10 hours? And that too, even that sleep, you cannot say you are in deep sleep, because you may oscillate between a dream state and a deep sleep, you don't know. So nobody has the strength to always be in deep sleep. Death is one such state, if you look at it. But death is also a manolaya state. In death, the mind is grabbed. The mind and breath goes away from the body. The body is dumb. But the Sukshma Sharira, in form of a causal body, is always existing. And the vasanas, when they germinate in time, they go and pick up another body. This is emphatically stated in Bhagavad Gita by Bhagavan Sri Krishna. He says, if you are born, there is no way to avoid death, and if you die, there is no way to avoid birth. Nobody can interfere with the cycle. So he says, Arjuna, why are you bothered now? This is inevitable. Whom are you killing? Nobody, you are slaying the body, but the mind is happily moving out with in causal form to take another body. And it keeps continuing the cycle. Same thing for you, same thing for everyone, excepting for a jnani who has realized the truth of this ego and who has once and for all who has done a mano nasa. So, the death is nothing but manolaya. This death state is nothing but manolaya. It is a long sleep. The dreamless long sleep. This is something you can take it as an equation. Sleep gets over in 8 hours. This 8 hours will not come when? Only when you wake up. Because there is time in Satchitananda. Time is mind. mind is not functioning, there is no time. There is no concept of time. So this happens only in Satchitananda. So that is like this only. Bhagavan Krishna teaches Arjuna, and excepting for a jnani, everybody this rule applies. If you are born, you have to die. If you are die, you have to born. He says, Vilakkar Kariya Vidhi Idu. This is an unassailable rule. This is a rule laid by Paramatma himself. So, why are you getting agitated? Why are you thinking of anything? Go do what you need to do. Your body is come here to do some certain amount of prarabdha. The moment the prarabdha is exhausted, not even a second more will the body survive. And before the prarabdha is exhausted, this body will never drop. So when somebody dies, there's nothing to really get agitated about or afraid of anything. The prarabdha that he carried for this janma is over. This is the way we have to think as a Vedanti. We should not think, oh, he's gone, what will I do? No. He has come with something, he's finished, he is going. Even if he dies as soon as he is born, or dies after 90 years, 100 years, or dies halfway through, 30 years, 40 years, whatever. Same rule applies. He came with his prarabdha is exhausted, so he will go. Bhagavan Krishna says, this rule is, nobody can touch this rule. This rule is always the same. Before your prarabdha is over, your body will not drop. Some people may counter saying that, what if I do suicide? You are committing suicide only because your prarabdha is over. Yeah. So, there is nothing called the suicide. Suicide is part of, if at all somebody commits suicide, a lot of people keep doing it, that is because their prarabdha is exhausted. Ulladalar, ulla unar, ullado, ulla porul, ullalara, ullate, ulladal, ullamenum, ulla porul, ullalevan, ullate, ullabadi, ullade, ullal, unarvaye, ulle. This is the first sloka. Yeah. Look at the way he is composed with two words, theme words. There are only two theme words. Ulladhu. Ulladhu means being, sat. What there is known as Ulladhu in Tamil. It is there, if you say. Adu irukku, adu ulladhu, adu ange ulladhu. Okay, this Ulladhu means sat. Unarvu means chit. Unarvu means, எனக்கு உணர்ச்சியே இல்லை, I don't have any sensation. Sensation means awareness. So, Ulladhu means sat. Unarvu means chit. So, in the first line, he starts saying that Ulladhu alladhu ulla unar ulladhu. If the sat is not there, can there be an awareness of anything of the sat? Only when the sat is there, only when something is there, only when there is a spectacle here, I will know that there is a spectacle there. So, this is a very crude analogy. Don't take it like that. Sat is very subtle, beyond mind. Because all this is drishti. I am creating the spectacle only after I see him. If I don't see the spectacle according to Bhagavan, according to Vedanta, the spectacle is not there. Take it that way. Because that is the best marga that can take you in sadhana, take you steps in sadhana. Because when you are not aware of something, it is not there, you are not going to be bothered about that. Let us say I have 20 kilograms of gold in some place. First you have to give up. There is no gold. Only then you will be able to progress in the spirituality. So in order to do that, the best marga is, if you follow the Srishti, you will believe, the God created and gave it to me, it is there in safe locker, your mind will be only there. Whereas here Bhagavan says, if you see it, let's handle it differently. When you see that gold, you can do something with that gold. When it is not there, it is not there. Don't even consider it is there. Throw away, come back to your sadhana. So, Drishti Srishti is the most appropriate vada for people like us who are trying to practice Bhagavan's teaching. So, in the first statement, he asks, when that Ulladhu, the Sat, is not there, when the Sat Purul, when the Sat Vastu is not there, how can there be an awareness of that Sat? How can there be a Chit? Chit is consciousness. How can you be conscious of somebody, of something that is not there? So, the declaration is that yes, there is Sat, and the Sat knows itself. So the Chit is also rolled into the Sat. Everything is one. Sat, that is what we say, Sat, Chit, Ananda. All the three are one and the same. They are only just explanatory notes or words, key words. The Sat is always there. And the Sat is always aware of its existence. So, that is why we have seen this in one of the Upadesa Undya Slokams also a few weeks ago. We will trace that sloka. And so, Bhagavan says, Ulladhu Unarvu Verinmayin, Ulladhu Unarvagum Undipara, Unarve Namayuda Undipara, meaning, because there is no second one to know the existence, that existence itself is consciousness. Because who is aware of that? There is only one. Okay, there is no two. This one here, we should not, a lot of people who are new will assume, we are materialistic one. That is, there is one pen, there is only one pen in the whole world. No, it is not like a material. It is the being. It is a core. It is completely transcendental. At that level, if you see, there is only being. The being knows itself, is aware of itself. Swayam Prabha. It is always aware of itself. That is the nature of being, the Sat. So, the first sentence he says, is there any consciousness without the being? So, the being is self-conscious. That Ulla Porul, that is, that existing Sat, Ullatte, Ullalara, Ullatte, Ullada. Ullalara means without any agitation, without any movement, or without any, what do you call, I'll try to give you a better word. Ullalara, that is devoid of thoughts. There are plenty of ways you can see movement, vibrations, action, thought. So you can, in this context, you can say Ullal Ara, which means without any thought. This being, pure being, exists without any thought, and it is self-aware. It is aware of its existence, not as a thought, because that existence and this awareness of its existence are one and the same. This is a sloka in which he covers the entire Vedanta, but we'll go step by step. When we go, we'll be able to appreciate it in a much better way. So, what does he say? Ullalara ullate ulladan. Without, devoid of any thought, it is there in your ullam. Ullam means heart. Again, when Bhagavan uses this term heart quite extensively, and never, heart means this English heart that we all know, like your physical organ, or the spiritual heart that is there on the right side of the chest, as Bhagavan has told based on some Raja Yoga Marga. All that is not what Bhagavan says. Whenever he says heart, it is always Sat. It is always the Parampur, the highest thing, which is Sat. It is always Sat. Sat is known as heart. So, it is the Sat is there in the Sat itself. See, this being is always there, aware of its own being, and it is in its own, because there is only one. This is the beauty of Advaita. There is only one, Ekam. So, that being is there. So, it is always there without any thoughts in its own. So, when it is there, now people say, meditate on the being. Who is to meditate? How? How to meditate? Because it is devoid of thoughts. Thoughts cannot go there. It is beyond mind. So, when you say devoid of thought, how can you then meditate? Meditation on that being is nothing but being. Which means, without any thought, you just stay put. Clear mind, without that mind, if you stay put, you are that being. That is the way to meditate. Here the word meditate is only used for communication. There is nothing to meditate. Meditate means there is one object of meditation, there is a meditator. Only then meditation can get completed. But here, who is there to meditate? On what is going to meditate when there is only one being? So, being in the state of being without any thought is meditating on it. So this meditating is only a upachara term. Only for the sake of making us understand it is used here. So, that is what is known as meditating on the self. When people, how many books we have read, yes, particularly people who read a lot of books, they will come, you have to meditate on the self. You have to meditate on Aham Brahmasmi. The moment you talk meditate, a meditator comes in and the object of meditation comes in, and we are in the school of duality. The concept is gone. The pristine beauty of Advaita is gone. So nobody in Advaita who want to practice the pure Advaita needs to do any meditation. Like I have my Ishtadeva, I have my the form of whatever, I will sit, I will keep on thinking of it. You can do all that. All that will give you some little bit of strength of mind at best. It will pure your mind to an extent. But it cannot take you anywhere beyond that. Because all this is done by mind. This is the classical difference between Bhagavan's teaching and the traditional scriptural teaching of Upanishads, of other gurus and of Shastras, of all we have. Bhagavan will never allow you, as I told you right in the start, to accept that there is an ego or there is a mind. Whereas to do all other marga, accepting this Atma Vichara, mind is the one that is doing all the sadhaka, all the sadhana. And you want to eliminate that mind. Bhagavan asks, you think it is possible? You think that mind will so easily agree to commit suicide? It will never. So, you go behind, you got to go to the root of the mind and find out where the mind rises from. And as I told you earlier, this mind is like a phantom. It is like a ghost. Without holding on to other thoughts, it cannot survive. It will fall. And where does it fall? It has to fall only on being, on Satchitananda. So, what is meant by meditation in the pure Advaitic sadhana? Being without thoughts is known as meditation. Sit without thought. Keenly watch the feeling of life. Like we saw in the Upadesa Undiyar, வெளிவேஷயங்களை விட்டு மனந்தன் ஒளியுரு ஓர்தலே உத்தி பர. What does it mean? You have given all the external, you have given all the thoughts, given up all the thoughts. You are totally thought free. That is step 1 of Vichara. What is the step 2? Tan oli uru ordale. Its own light it has to see. So there are twofold. One is completely being devoid of any thought. That anyway happens every day in deep sleep. They are devoid of any thought. But what is missing in deep sleep? You are merged with the Satchitananda during that time. But your vasanas impel you to wake up and come up. What is the difference between that sleep and realization? That sleep, you are devoid of thoughts, perfect, no problem. But you are not focusing on the I. You are not focusing, you are not conscious of it. Because it's only due to tiredness you go to sleep. It is not due to keen observation or awareness that you go to a state of thoughtlessness. You go to a state of thoughtlessness in sleep because you are tired. And your mind is not able to function. And then when it has slept enough, your samskaras wake you up. And you come back. We are back to normal. As usual, everything goes on till we become tired again and go to sleep. So here, the Advaitic meditation means being completely devoid of thought and focusing with keen one-pointedness, focusing on where this I thought rises from. And then that focus is nothing but, again focusing on the I. This is the analogy, snake and rope. Keep picturing it. This snake is not going to leave us so easily. So what does it mean? How do you know it is a rope, it is not a snake? There is a snake, there is a rope appearing like a snake, and we are convinced it is snake. Because because of lack of knowledge, a little bit of lack of knowledge, and also because of a dim light or some other upadhi. So, here our upadhi in terms of us is our ignorance, our avidya, is the upadi. So now, if you have to transcend that, what we do? Somebody tells, hey, somebody, a passerby, hey, no, I've seen it, it's not a snake. I was also earlier confused, it was a snake, but it is not. I've touched it, I've seen it. Somebody tells me. And he goes on. Still, we are not convinced. What if he's wrong? What if he's lying, and what if the snake comes and bites me? So how do we solve the problem? By keenly watching the rope appearing as snake, slowly from head to tail, and then doing some little bit of other exercises that we know, probably throwing a stone or whatever. Then slowly our conviction grows. Probably this is only a rope. And then we muster some courage, go a little bit nearby, and make more noise, make more, all gesticulation and other things, and find out, no, if it's a snake, it would have reacted by now. And then we gain some more courage, we touch it. Nothing. Then we realize, yes, 100% this is a rope. I have no problem, I have no fear. Similarly, this I feeling, which is now germinated in form of ego. But as I told you, when we talk about this I thought, this feeling, this personality is not there. Because this personality called Vasu or whoever is also part of that I's imagination, that I thought's imagination. There is nothing called separate anything. I am not the dreamer. It is only the ego that is the dreamer, and I am a part of that dream. This is Ekajivavata, as we talked a little earlier. There is only one jiva that is imagining, and this personality who now thinks he is dreaming is also a part of that dream, just like every other people who appeared in the dream. So, that I thought should. What should it be? It completely focused, just like how we eliminated the snake from the original rope. We'll have to now eliminate the rising I from the Satchit, original I, pristine, pure I. How do we do it? By self-attention. By having all our attention fixed on this I thought. That I thought now, what happens? We are losing, there's no other thought. And as we talked earlier, this I is a phantom. It can come up only by holding on to other thoughts. It will hold on to thoughts, it will grow. It will hold on to thoughts, it will become fat. It will hold on to thought, it will rise. It will hold on to thought, it will go from one body to another. For everything, thoughts is needed. So when you're deprived of its thought, of the thought, deprive the I thought of all other thoughts, it is starving. And it will die. It will fall. This is self-realization, and once you fall like this, then you won't come back again. Because your vasanas are dead, burnt to ashes, along with the death of this I thought. Because I thought is the holder of all your vasanas. That is coming from from thousands of previous birth, our vasanas are continuing. And this I thought is the holding place. So when the holding place is set to fire, when the root is uprooted, no further germination is possible, and the vasanas have no place to stay, the I itself is gone. What is remaining? Your Satchitananda is remaining. This is all that is there. This is the marga. This is the exact teaching that Bhagavan teaches in Who Am I? So when we read the book Who Am I, such background is essential. Without this background, if you read the content, it will be just like reading a book of high value. That's all. You will be reverent. You will have all the reverence towards the book, but it will be only to the extent of that reverence. So, with this background, now you start reading the book called Who Am I, small book called Who Am I. It will give you more insight. And it will keep evolving as we read more and more of Ulladhu Narpadhu. We have just seen one Mangala Sloka, the first Mangala Sloka. This is not the first Sloka. There are two Mangala Slokas, and then there are 40 Slokas. We have seen the first Mangala Sloka, which is dedicated, attributed to the non-dual being. This is a revolution. Nobody has done anything like this. This is pure Nirguna. And then in the second Sloka, Bhagavan initially had only one Sloka. as Mangala. And then when the whole composition was shown to Kavya Kantaganapati Muni, he felt Bhagavan, all works of such high repute should necessarily bow in front of a Godhead. Nayana himself picked up the 37th sloka was there. He picked up and said, this sloka is very apt for Saguna worship. It can be put as the second Mangala sloka in Ulladhu Narpadhu. So Bhagavan placed it there, and in place of the 37th, he composed another song and put it there in that place. This is how the second came, and this is worshipping the Ishvara with his own Mayopadi, with this Upadi called Maya. This is the Ishvara that we all worship in temples and other things. So he wanted it. But Bhagavan made it appear to him that he is given a Nirguna, to a Saguna deity to worship. But if you analyze that song, he will immediately come to the conclusion Bhagavan has just fooled him. He stuck to this own way of accepting for using the word Mahesha. Marana Baya Mikula Ammakkal Aranaga Marana Bava Milla Mahesan Saraname Sarvadam Savudu Savutra Savendam Sarvaro Savadavanitya. So he says, Marana Baya Mikula Ammakkal Aranaga Marana Bava Milla Mahesan Saraname Sarvatam Sarvudutam Savutra Savendam Sarvaro Savadavanitya. So, when people, good people, pious people, what happens when they get a fear of death, an intense fear of death, sometimes people will get. And that's very essential in the path of spirituality. You have to, Bhagavan says, Bhagavan himself solved the whole problem only because of fear of death. His death experiences, everybody knows how he experienced, how the intense fear. This is not the fear of death that you and I get by seeing. He got really, he was right facing the death right in front of him. And he decided, I have to solve this problem. I cannot allow this problem to prolong. There has to be an end to it one way or the other. So he experimented by completely lying like a corpse without even breathing, without even thinking. His thoughts were zero. That is what is known as self-attention. Later on he taught that way. But at that time, what did he know? He was a young boy. And he clearly says, I have nothing, I have studied nothing. I know no Shastras. He decided, he was able to see, this body is definitely going to die. Something has happened to it. And with the death of the body, am I dead? Am I dying? So let's see. He decided to face it. He lied as a corpse, held his breath, and still feels the existence, the being, the Sat that we are talking about. He was able to feel vibrantly it is going on. The body is almost perished. This is what happens during self-attention process. So he is not dead, he declared. And all this happened in a matter of 1 or 2 seconds. It's not like a plan, okay, now I'll lay in the bed, I'll go lie aram se, I will do, now I'll act like a dead body, and nothing. That fear of death in him was so intense that everything happened like that. So we should get that. And good people should get this fear of death to cross over. Because you have to solve that problem. That is the only problem that is worth solving in the whole, in this whole birth. And once we solve the problem, there is no more birth. This will be the last birth. So, what the statement says, Ulle Marana Bayam Vikkuda Ammakkal Aranaga. Mature souls who have intense inner fear of death, what do? They cling to the feet of their Lord. Okay? Let us say, Arunachala. For me, everything Arunachala, for example. Everything is Arunachala. So if I have some problem, normal problem, first thing I'll see Arunachala, Arunachala, Arunachala. And when death is approaching me, what else will I say? Arunachala, 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 save me. My quality of speech, save me, Arunachala. it automatically comes to us. Or Bhagavan, whatever. I'm just saying, for example. So, if people who are inclined towards Tirupati, they say, all this happens. So here, there is a semblance of a personal devotee getting invoked in this Mangala Sloka. So they say, Maheshan Saraname. So they fall at the feet of Mahesha. They cling. Fearless. So big. Why? Because Marana Bhavam Illa Maheshan, which means the Lord, whom we believe, does not have a birth or death. We can go to solve the death problem only somebody who has already solved the problem, only who has transcended it. Not to anyone. If I get an intense fear of death, I cannot call my friend and say, hey, I'm having a death problem. Because he is also having that problem equally well. Every one of us are sailing in the same boat. And we'll never. So we go to a person who we believe has transcended, who does not have birth, who does not have death. And for us, who? Ishvara. We go to Ishvara. We call Ishvara. So we go on at Ishvara's feet, saying that. So then, because of the strength derived from the Ishvara, what happened? With that, falling into the feet, by clinging thus to the feet of Ishvara, they have died as individuals. Because this is what is known as Bhakti Marga that we talked earlier. This is what is known as giving the possessor. We said giving the possessions is so easy. This is giving the possessor. So now we are giving the possessor. Once we give the possessor, what happens? Our individuality is totally wiped out. We are not individuals anymore. So what happens in that state? When they have died as an individual and thereby become one with the deathless Lord. So we are merged with the Lord by sacrificing our I. We have given the I to the Lord. This is Bhakti Marga. The first sloka was purely Jnana Marga. This one takes the Bhakti Marga. But the ultimate objective or the ultimate achievement was killing the I. Taking the I out of place. Here also we are doing the same thing. There also we did the same thing by means of without any thought. Without any thought by staying in the being is what we saw. And same thing we are achieving it here by means of surrendering ourselves totally because of this intense fear of death. Intense fear of death is very important. All of us go to some death, and we all get that vairagya. Oh, we are all transient bodies. We are all going to die sometime. And this fear lasts for about few hours. Before which our mind goes to so many other things and this fear is totally lost. It is not achieving anything excepting for that 1 or 2 hours of making us think. We are also like this person who is dead. You are also going to die and all that. So why all this? We have this is called, in Tamil they say, Smashana Vairagya, which means only till you come back from the burial ground, all this will be there. The moment you come back, get into your car to go to your home, there will be so many things. I have to give my car to service. All this problem is there. I have to do this. I have the bank account. My bank is waiting for me. We go. And the fear of death is buried. You have not solved anything. Bhagavan says, that fear has to be intense, like how Bhagavan had. And if you have that intense fear, you will immediately surrender to your Lord. Mahesham Saranam. To Arunachala, you will fall at the feet of Arunachala, you will fall at the feet of Bhagavan, Ramana, whatever. And then you will sacrifice yourself. The moment you have given that individuality, then, therefore, can such deathless people again have thoughts about death? They are already dead as individual. The individual thinking mind is gone. So they are on their own incapable of thinking anything. So where can the thought of death come for them? This is what is achieved. In Bhakti Marga, we have annihilated the I. The previous sloka, we saw how in Jnana Marga, we have annihilated the I. The ego, we have annihilated it. And in both the states, in both the ways, we are ultimately being Satchitananda. We are searching. This is what is the second sloka, which appears to invoke a god. Even though it invokes a deity, the ultimate goal is, as we have seen earlier also, achievement of self. We have achieved the self. We have reached the self. Reached again. There's no reaching or going here, there, whatever. Self is always there. Sarvavyapi. So we have ignored. We have killed the one. Is not yet opened even one page of what is one speech. But yes, in the two Mangala Slokas, he has given the substance of the entire Vedanta. This is all entire Vedanta is about. artificial streets. This is what we are trying to study with the help of so many learned scholars. No use. Unless you learn it from a jnani, nothing is going to happen. By means of learning from jnani, what I mean is not a physical body jnani. Okay, we know all this is Bhagavan. Bhagavan is jnani, and Bhagavan is got, even when he was in Deha, he was without Deha only. He did not have a body. He did not consider himself having a body. So we cannot learn from scholars all this who have not realized themselves. They were very good in grammatics. They were very good in giving lectures. They were very good in every way. So whatever I tell you, you have to take these points and fall at the feet of Bhagavan. This is what we can do. Individuals with book knowledge are as good as ignorant people. The only thing is they know to talk for a while. They know to keep an audience entertained for a while. Beyond that, what is the difference? Everything is one and the same. So ultimately, we have to build with love at the feet of our Bhagavan. And for us, our Bhagavan is Sri Ramana. Runachana.